Let's talk about your organisation. Are you accepting donations? The work programme has been a rousing success. At this point we only have one more goal in mind to round out this year. I've been negotiating with her Bucks-Catty to lease another building. This construction is much more modern and sturdy than our old shelter. Our people were better protected there. In addition, the extra floor space would help us would host new options for our organisation. One other thing, if we reach our goal, I would like to name the building after you as our primary benefactor. With 500 new yen, we can make the purchase, whatever you could spare. This is incredibly generous, thank you. No, not a big deal, do good with it. I don't know what you say, Richard, but with this donation we've reached our final goal. I'll speak to Bugazi immediately and provide him with his down payment. The Richard Civic Centre will stand as a monument to your generosity and care. Thank you. Once again, you have been a godsend to the poor of the Kubazar. Cruiser. I can't say it, it's German. And they will see to it that they know it. The Richard Civic Centre has a nice ring to it. I am happy that you're pleased. You have more than earned it. Let's talk about something else. No, just passing by. Something I can do for you, just checking in. Appreciate the effort you're making, but you've got some big shoes to fill around here. Monaco is important to this place. You have no idea, but I imagine you soon will. Nothing stays secret for long in the F state. The flux demands transparency. The truth will always come out, and the truth about Monica's death is now on the breeze, flowing through the streets of Berlin. Next come visitors of uncertain intent. Some may just be bottom feeders sniffing after the leavings of the dead. Others will be hunters looking to exploit a leaderless tribe. You still think us leaderless? The odd troll now squints as if looking for you. Not sure yet. There are trying times ahead. Seen it before, too many times before. Anything else you need? No, nothing. I'll be going. I think I should pick up some stuff. Chat to people. So let's go to the computer first. Have we got any new stuff? Check your inbox for new messages. Salvage DVD. Screen flickers. And Mallet's face appears from the shifting background of the ambient noise. It's clear that the message was recorded on a portable device. Hoi Richard, just wanted to tell you that I've met with limited success working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all of the files on it, but I think at least you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope though. They're all badly damaged and suffering from disc rot besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. Recovery. Rich, this is Psych from the hotel. I hope it's okay that I'm right to you. Sam gave me your email address. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for everything you did for me. Kicking my cram habit was the hardest thing that I've ever done. I don't think I would have tried if you hadn't talked me into it. To celebrate my newfound sobriety, I've decided to sign on as a volunteer for the charity. Who knows, maybe giving back to the community will help turn things around in my life. Anyway, thanks again, Richard. I owe you one. Go back. Jobs directory. Claim payment. You submit the job is finished. A few moments later, a message on screen pops up. Excellent job, Richard. You are a credit to your profession, and I would not hesitate to hire you again. Your fee will be transferred to your account immediately. Message pops in your inbox with pay details. 15,000, 4,000 for crew. Ammunition 1,000. Automatic deductions for Alice's fund 7.5. Remainder sent to me 2.5. View all active and pending jobs. So I've got the prototype one to do. Access Shadowrun. Search for relevant. Massacre at the Shanasen schoolhouse. Attention grabbing headline. Local news has been spinning it. Truth is that the schoolhouse was abandoned years ago and is being used as a humanist recruits and training complex. You're kidding me. A friend of mine was going there after class and said it was just a community centre. I know none of you are fans of Humanus, but that entire chapter house got wiped out. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw Humanis for exploiting them, but they didn't deserve death. Good riddance to those arseholes. Streets are a little safer now. They're all buried. Went trolling on the Humanist boards, and the place was totally wiped. Volker Stahl was in charge of that chapter house. Good riddance to that piece of dreck. Just got offered a job to geek one of the Humanist lieutenants. Seems like Stahl is dead and a power struggle is already underway. You taking the job? Not my kind of work, but I gave Johnson an address to one of your tricks dead drops. Cheers, mate. Just finished up drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is Humanis did not want to pay for services rendered, and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. So the muscle decided taking the whole place down would get the Nuyen back. Well, that's one way to make a living, I guess. Even if your friend didn't get screwed out of a bit of Nuyen, I don't think Humanis would ever be worth the bullets, especially that many of them. Save the F-state. It's time to rise up against the corporations now, fight for free Berlin. You just fall out of a time warp. The war is over and we won. Hard to imagine Berlin any freer. Maybe you just need to switch to decaf. As long as any corporation is active anywhere in the F-state, we're all at risk. We must act. Corps are good for business and keep in their little corners. Why do you think we would help you? How naive to think they will stay there forever. Don't you see that they are taking the freedom we all hold so dear? Plans are being made across the F-state with the shadow community on our side. We shall prevail. The F-state has its own way of dealing with those who step out of line. Take your politics somewhere else. Around here we've got bills to pay. Running on the SK. What a thrill. Had to do a simple data steal on an SK branch office turned into an OK Corral shootout. Never seen first response team arrive there that fast in my life. Had a decker off site running damage control, managed to distract the second team to a different building while we jacked the car, and the first team came in. Lesson learned: simple when it comes to S&K means something else. We stole a corpse response vehicle. Don't they have trackers on those things? Of course they do. Dumped it off the side of the road with a prime grenade in the back seat just to be safe. Nice one. Bragging about nearly failing on a SK is worth them paying a decker to backtrace your Shadowlands account. Any idea what valuable data that you were hiding in that branch office? No idea. Money was too good to take any chances with it. Safely delivered it and the transfer cleared. No more posts. Post pay data for sale. Research data. Walk away. Okay, let's go and have a chat with that woman about the next job, about the big job she wants done. Or not, because she's not up there. Let's go down and check if there's anyone new down here. It doesn't look to be. Lucky Strike's still here. Fancy seeing you here. It's bound to happen sooner or later. I live here and I like a drink as much as the next guy. Of course you do. She raises a glass in salute. Something you wanted to talk about? Do you know anything about an organisation called the Lodge? Dura's group, you mean? Sure, I've done a few jobs for them. They pay well. The whole ominous secret organisation thing they were trying to keep going is a little weird, but whatever. Money is money and they've got it. What can you tell me about Dura? Best I can tell you is he's a middle rung today, like any other corp. Suit, that you deal with before a run. Only difference is that his organisation isn't the court. I think he's a little fresh-faced for what the lodge has him doing. In the beginning there were some credibility issues. I had a hard time taking the guy seriously, but when we started waving wads of Nuyen around, and that all cleared up in a flash. Afraid I can't help you dig any deeper. He's an occasional client. Takes sips of scotch and chases it with a long drag of a cigarette. Even if I knew more about Dura, I wouldn't tell you. Shadowrunners who kiss and tell have a funny way of dying young. Finding much work recently? Yeah, it's the best place to... Yeah, Kurzbart isn't the best place to do it. There aren't a ton of jobs out here if you don't have a network. You don't have people here? Nope, my crew is in Mittel. There's lots of work out there if you can handle it, but life isn't as pleasant as it is here. She gestures with a cigarette and the tip glowing red in the gloom. I mostly visit your lovely little Kai's between runs to restock and relax. It's a good place for that. A nice slow pace. She pauses for a moment and searches for the word quaint. Don't suppose you'd be interested in taking a permanent position on my team? Don't suppose I would. Like I said, I got a team of my own. Good people who've earned my loyalty 100 times over. I can do a little moonlighting here and there, but I wouldn't take it kindly if I bailed on them. She takes another sip of scotch. Better that it stays like this. If you need me for a run, I'm available. If you need to pay me first, keep things clean and simple. Bartender any good? Nope, it's called De Winkelkeller for a reason. The guy behind the bar is more like a Bush League Sommelier, or whatever that is. Then Danny is a proper bartender, knows a bit about wine, but when it comes to mixing drinks he's useless. If you want a drink, I'd recommend sticking to something simple. Try ordering something with more than 2 ingredients and you're asking for trouble. So you're a wine drinker then? Me, no. Never developed taste for it. She tilts her glass, swirling the amber liquid inside. I'm not a big fan of sweet things. Never have been, not even when I was a kid. I've always preferred to smoke. Why hang out in a wine bar? Because it's usually empty in here. I don't like to be bothered, and as hopeless as the bartender is, it's tough to mess up scotch if you order it neat. Now, if you have any more questions, I gotta run. See ya. Yep, see ya. Okay. Oh, Simi Kim waves an awkward dance through the scattered refuge. Her 2 thin legs wobbling, but she keeps her footing throughout. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar the sun will come out. Could all use a little sun down here. Not the literal sun city. It means tomorrow will be a better day. Monica used to say something like that. When I was tired, when I was sad, when I only wanted to sleep, she would tell me that. She told me I wouldn't forget, the pain would go away. I've lived many lives, but I've been an orphan more times than anything. It was the first story I found. I needed to get away. Anyone ever tried to get you off Sims? But I need them. Monica understood that, and Zach says they're safe. I don't know what I'd do without them. Without them I dream, and I don't want to dream. I don't want to remember. They help me forget. They help me be strong and smart, and I never lose anymore. That makes it a good thing, right? Better to be strong and smart in the real world. Can't run from your problems forever, I know. So you like it here? It's good. Kim turns her head so as not to look you in the eyes. Her posture is that of someone who fears the possible repercussions. Around say it's good. I can get what I need from Zach Flash or Dr. Exebel. And they let me pay however I can. Monica was always nice, and Paul Amstel and the Angel is nice to me too usually. I know Monica's gone now, but I can still stay, right? Of course you can stay. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I don't know what else I would do. Talk more some other time, alright? Yeah, let's have a look, see if we've got any new inventory from people. See if... Oh yeah, certainly arrived just this morning. I'll certainly install it for you, but it won't be cheap. I expect as much. Tell me what the damage is going to be. £5,000. See what weapons you've got. Got anything new? Armored vest with plates. Doesn't look like he has. I think people have got levels as well that I can level them up with. Good. So I've got... You probably need some more magic. I need to speak to Paul. Please excuse me, I have work to do. It looks like it's going to be the same stuff. See what he's selling. Yeah, still the same stuff. Is everyone good? Yep, so they've all got their next level of stuff. Cool. We'll do that when we get inside, once we've spoken to Paul. Actually, let's speak to... one look at Blitz's face is enough to tell you that something is gnawing at him. He stands beside the table playing with a coffee spoon. Oi, Richard, what do you need? What's going on? Well, Chief, I had to admit it, but I might be in a little bit of trouble here. Go on. There's an awkward pause, then Blitz plows on ahead. Well, you remember those creditors I told you about? The ones who loaned me all that money? Yes. Yeah, well, as it turns out, some of them are a little less forgiving than I thought they were. Keep talking. Well, one in particular seems to have taken things kind of personally. How personal are we talking here? I got a package in the mail. It had someone's thumb in it. Thumbs? Yeah, thumbs. They came in a cigarette box packed in salt. I had no idea who they belonged to. I'm pretty sure they're meant to convey some sort of message. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I don't want to lose my thumbs, Chief. I like my thumbs. I think that I need to pay this guy back. Luckily I got a plan. I know how to get myself out of hot water with meat grinder. I've got it all specced out. Alright, lay it on me. Well, there's this group out in the... they call themselves the Lambergen Ring. They're a financial crime organisation. And there's a lot of bad blood between them and Meat Grinder's operation. Anyway, back when I was running with the Schwarz Harrison, I laid out the groundwork for a hit on the Lamberg Ring. I was never able to make good on it, though. For some reason, none of the other gangers ever volunteered to help me out. With your help, I could steal enough money from them to cover my debts and get myself back into Meat Grinder's good graces in the process. So what do you think? A quick one, just me, just you and me, with me in the Matrix and you, my man on the ground. We hit them, satisfy my debt and laugh about it on the way back. Sounds like a plan? You need to be more upfront with things like this. No problem, Chief. No problem at all. You can count on me. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some last minute stuff to take care of before we can get started. Oh, and Rich, thanks. No sweat. Meet you at the U-Bahn. Oh, yeah. Not as such, Chief. I won't be physically going. I've seen enough of that place for one lifetime. I'll be jacking in from a terminal I set up here. Great, okay, I guess I'll send you a comm when I get there. Sounds good to me, Chief. Thanks again. Yeah, let's chat to everyone. Ever heard of an organisation called the Lodge? Lodge, he freezes up. Boss, do you mean the Black Lodge? I don't know. Lodge was all that I heard. Let me describe them to you. And tell me when I see. Shadowy, powerful, secretive as hell, with deep pockets and a penchant for hiding the truth. They conduct all of their business through dupes and go-betweens. Sounds about right. Yeah, that's them in a nutshell. Well, if it is them, and whoever you're talking about, I ain't saying it is, then I should stay away from them, stay far, far away. And whatever you do, don't take their money. If you do, you'll owe them. Take it they're dangerous then? More than you know. Most folks don't even believe they exist, but being a shaman in Berlin has its perks. I've seen enough evidence to believe it. Tell me what you've heard about them. Well, the story is that the Black Lodge is the mother of all conspiracies. Supposedly, they've been around for hundreds of years, and they've been practicing magic since well before the awakening. Impossible, I know, but I believe it. You ever heard of the Masons, Knights Templar, the Bravian Illuminati? They were all puppets of the Black Lodge. None of them knew who they were working for, but the Lodge was there, pulling the strings. They've always have been, and they still are today. That's the story. Didn't realise you were a conspiracy theorist. I see. Well, thanks for letting me know. That gives me a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Suddenly I could use a drink. Any thoughts on the last run? Hell of a thing that was. That run made me glad that I don't have to spend a lot of time in hospitals. I'll tell you that much. It wasn't a single aspect of that building that didn't make me feel uneasy. Kind of a pity putting that rigger on ice. At least we could have done was hear him out. I get the job as a job and all, but our client really did screw him over. He deserves better than to get buried for it. I guess we'll never know. Richard, any thoughts on our last run? It was a nice change of pace, a simple job with a straightforward objective. At the end of the day, the whole thing was pretty by the numbers. The rigger died, we got paid, and everyone went home happy. That's a win in my book. Do you trust me? Yeah, I do. You've earned that much. Haven't always agreed with your decisions, but you've proven your competence. It's only fair for me to acknowledge it. Good to know, thank you. Not right now. Need something? You kind of started running the Shadows much more than 5 years ago tops, so what's with the vintage chrome? That's not a story that I'm interested in telling out of context. If you really want to get into it, we're going to need to go way back. I'm not sure you want to do that. You say that you'll give me answers when we talk about your past, so let's talk about it. Why you care. I'm leader of this team and I need to know as much as I can about the runners who I'm working with. I don't care, not particularly, but I am curious. Alright, fine, we can talk, but we're doing it on my terms. This is a long story, Richard, long and ugly and cruel. Are you sure you want to hear it? Please. Alright, I'm going to start at the beginning. Not for you, for me. I guess that it might help me to say all of it out loud. She takes a deep breath and slowly releases it. When she speaks, her voice comes out in a cool monotone. My family lived in Stuttgart. It was a nice enough place, I suppose. My parents worked as wage slaves for IFMU. My mum was a good person. Once upon a time, my father was a decent person as well. That's what my mum always told me, but I never knew him that way. She pauses for a long moment when she begins speaking again. Some of the ice has fallen away from her voice. For the first time since you met her, Glory sounds alive. The dad that I knew was an old, damaged Euro war vet who turned to hardline religion to make sense of the world. In Stuttgart, that means either the Red Christia, or fascist, or their fascist cousins, the Kuras writers. My father chose the latter path. I still remember hiding in my room when my father had his Kura-writers brothers over for a prayer group. They would drink and they would get rowdy, then spend an hour or two riling themselves up with talk about heretics and the devil's work. Then they'd go find some poor elf or dwarf, stomp the living shit out of him and drown him in the nectar. Meanwhile, I'd be holed up at home with Mum, who would commemorate the evening by drinking a bottle of wine and crying herself to sleep. I'm sorry, Glory, no child should have grown up around that. I'd like to get my hands on your dad and his crusaders and see how they like it when someone pushes back. Just elves and dwarves. I assume a mage or an orc would have made a more tempting target. Thanks, Richard, this is difficult for me. Thank you for making it easier. Anyway, aside from the fact that my dad and his buddies were a bunch of murderous assholes, life was pretty normal. I went to school, made friends, hung out with my mum, kid stuff. Then I turned 14 and everything went to shit. Glory pauses and swallows hard. Even so, slightly her cheeks flush red. Suddenly she looks self-conscious, as if she's just snapped out of a trance. As quickly as it came, a flush of emotion disappears, her voice frosts over. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Alright, this stuff, airing this stuff out while clearly helping you work through it. You don't need to say anything that you don't want to. If you ever want to talk, you know where to find me. Thank you for your understanding. Glory stares at you through cold dead eyes. Now let's get back to the job we have at hand. Okay. Actually, let's chuck some stuff away, because we don't need that. We don't need that. Let's go speak to Paul, see what he's got to say. Richard, welcome back. I have news for you. In your absence, I've been looking into the Harfield Manor, or the Verschwidge, I really don't know what that is up to. It is both large scale and well funded. I've uncovered money trails leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with a dummy address. From there, all of that freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfield estate. How much money are we talking about here? I can't name an exact figure, but we're talking about a lot of money, in the millions of Nuyen, most certainly. Whether the firing is planning, she has access to all the resources she needs to carry it out. Alright, so Dragon has money, and this isn't exactly new information. The Harfield Manor are reeked of wealth. Now, yes, and it looks... Yes, and look at where it got her. Fire. When the Firewing launched her attack on humanity, it was an act of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It would be equally hubristic for us to assume that she will be making the same mistake twice. I'll continue digging into this for a while, and your team will tackle your next run. With luck, I have more information to share upon your return. Sounds good, Paul? One last thing, Richard. Milet was able to restore a readable surface on a Green Winter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you'll find it sitting beside the player. I'll check it out. Very good. Milet's still working on the other DVDs from the bundle. Maybe many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything off them could prove quite a chore. She told me that she'll be in touch when she makes headway. Thanks, Paul. Let's have a look at the next one. The media tray of the DVD player slides out, the battered disc. Load the second DVD. Software spinning DVD. Scratched LCD comes into life. Play track 1. Green Winters appears on the screen timestamp 20:54:11:11. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding the facts on the fire swing, so I thought I'd open things up a bit. Let me see what the rumour mill has to say. Screen jumps, Winters reappears in a different location. He's now clutching a mug of soy calf in both hands, and there are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening, assuming that any of it was true, that is. So for the past 5 hours I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories related to dragons and the sock. As a reminder, the sock is in a radiated wasteland between France and Germany. It got zoned off back in 08 when after the Cattenom GAU reactor melted down. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumours floating around about that place. I've heard stories about a walled city in there that operates on survival of the fittest, kill or be killed basis. Sort of like a nightmare inversion of Berlin. All of the anarchy but none of the stability the F-state provides. Radiation poisoning, cancer and mana pollution are just the icing of the cake. So when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot down fire swing down, she crashed into the sock. That much is well known. Wasn't it as well known? Are all the modern day myths that have arisen about her since, and tonight I've heard an earful. I chatted with a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat, a smuggler that operates in socks. She told me about a dragon cult called the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. Apparently these cultists worship some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be fire swing or it could be nothing. So it's worth digging into all the same. Another thing my little ghost rat told me, popular rumour in the sock is that fire swing's astral form was, I guess you'd say, mutilated by all of the background radiation. Some of the glow punks out there say that they seen her shed her body like an old coat. Others say that she's trapped, doomed to languish as an intangible radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence to give any of this. After all, I don't have any proof that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be, but then she could also be a run-of-the-mill glow punk, or maybe she's just yanking my chain and she's never been to the sock at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought. Anyway, I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon, but it's interesting all the same. Now the big question is, will any of this get me any closer to finding Adrian? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say no, but you never can tell. Play track 2. Screen goes black for a moment, Green Winters appears. Timestamp on the video is 20:54:11:12. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Calistine came flying into the sock to rescue the Firewing, but he was driven off, some say killed, by Lothwin and Nebelher. So what if the other dragons involved in all this? Winter grabs a thick leather-bound tome from a shelf behind him, licks a finger and begins to leaf through it. Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First of all, there's the Golden Worm, Lothwir, the CEO of Saddle Cup, and quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lothwir's a local boy, so he's been in the position to help Fireshwing. He certainly has the financial capability to help her. He could send a small army into the socks if he wanted to. So he definitely got the means, but I can't see how he'd have the motive. He actively prevented the Firewings rescue back in 2012. After all, same thing's true of Nebel here, so let's scratch them off the list. Flips the page. We've got Aiden, the great Surus. He's operating out of Turkey by all accounts. He's not a fan of Lothwir. They're actively competing for territory in the Middle East. So I suppose that could be considering a motive. Reviving the Firewing might cause problems for the Golden Worm, but he would risk a war with Saddle Cup, and straying onto Lothwir's territory again I don't think it's likely. Turns another page. The Seldria out in Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Trizen Neonet, so he's got the money, but he's too busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that Trizen is going through out in London to get his claws dirty in the sock. Flip Duzzleham out in the UCAS. Pauses, shakes his head and slams his attention. No, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that Firewing is acting alone. The dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother at making nice with your equals when you've got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together, they have us to exploit. Play track 3. Clearly corrupted. Screen fills with meaningless stream of text. Track 4. File is partially garbled. You can recognise a few words here, but they're Von Clair, blah 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 blah. A few bits of thing. Track 5. File is corrupted. Meaningless characters. Track 6. Screen goes black. Same digital time you've heard on the Dragonfall DVD. Crackle of static. The air flows the same familiar electronic whine. A few moments later, the display goes live. Adrian Von Clair. Von Clair looks haggard. His eyes are heavily bagged and bloodshot, and his hair is mused. He holds a cigarette in an unsteady hand. Herm, it's me. I can't sleep. I don't know where you are. Out having fun, no doubt. Maybe flirting with one of those unattainable beauties that you're always chasing. He tries on a smile, but quickly disappears. He takes a drag on cigarette. That's good. I want you to live a pleasant, normal life after all. One of us should. Von Clair rubs his eyes. I still can't smell the smoke. I can still smell smoke, Hermie. It's almost a year later, and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses when I sleep. I can hear the sirens and the screams. There is no sound in this world as horrific as a burning victim screams. The doctor would call it this PTSD, I'm sure. They have me in therapy, maybe dose me up on SSRIs, like they do with veteran soldiers. He chuckles. Well, and then takes another drag. Quite the story for the tabloids. The great dragon slayer Adrian Von Clair, mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. He shakes his head. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a reputation to live up to, however poorly deserves it is, and however little I want it. He pauses, stubs out the cigarette. The dragon is still alive, Hermie. Of that I am certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I will be able to sleep through the night. The display goes black, and the background whine fades. A moment later, you find yourself deposited back on the main menu. Load the third DVD. So play track 1. Display goes blank for a moment, then the face. Timestamp for the video reads 20:42:08:05. I was thinking about Adrian today, not as he was when he disappeared, not as the fabled Dragon Slayer or big-time CEO of the Highly Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. I was always more of a kid than he was. Of course, he's 15 years older than me. In a way, he was more like a parent than a brother. Winters pauses. His gaze drops to an invisible point on the table in front of him. So I was thinking about this time when we were on holiday. Parents took us to an island of Pjol to enjoy the beach. Must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It's been his last family vacation with us. A year later, he began his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother, and when I fell out of a little paddling boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who dove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I love you forever for that, and I will find you when I owe you that much. Play track 2. Display goes blank. 20:49:606. Found the old news article that mentions Adrian from way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Feinschwen something. One of those quiche print-based mags that they produce for the retro crowd. There aren't any clues in here, but it's good to see that someone else acknowledges his existence. Clicks an off-screen button and an image Winters disappears. It was replaced by a digital scan of the magazine paper. SK Sock suffers in post-buyout brain drain, November 12th, 2039. In the aftermath of Dragon Lofear's hostile takeover of Southern Kip, that whatever that word is. A continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry among company shareholders. Company stock took a major hit when Lothian disposed former CEO Wilhelm Gaff Benot last August. 3 months later, long-held power positions within the SKI empire continued to empty as the Dragon consolidated its power base. Most recent casualties of Lothia's takeover include Alexander Kobayashi, former COO of Sendra Musicians. Matus Dona, former treasurer of Rune Datafax. And Wayne Harding, former CEO of Dahal Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Moncler, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back into the screen, so there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian a mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother's footnote. Play track 3. Corrupted data. Track 4. Corrupted screen. A rattling sound fills the disc. A few seconds later it fills with text. Dr. Von Clear, 2034-09-10. It's my sad duty to inform you that by unanimous vote of the Astron Shanfans, your position as CEO of Dal Defense will be terminated at the end of the calendar month. Continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. Supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during the pursuit of the dragon function must have been enormous, but your continued obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company and is unjustified drain on our company's resources. Board wishes you all the best in the future endeavours. We've prepared a generous severance package to assist you in your time of transition. If there is anything more we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. Warner Harding. Disc spins out, eject the disc, power down the DVD player and step away. I thought it was a statue in the park I was meeting her by. Meeting her by the statue in the park. So I'm guessing she should be up here. Speak to Zach, see if he's got anything for us. Let's do everyone's levels first, actually. A new sniper rifle or wired reflexes, adds +1 movement passive when triggered. User will dodge the first attack each round. A speed loader. Gains an ability that can target 2 enemies in one direction. Let's take the new sharps. Oh! Let's take that new sniper rifle. AoE radius is increased by 1 tile in all directions. Electrical now only costs 1 to cast. Dragon Slayer now hunts all foes within 3 tiles of Daedric for 16 damage on subsequent rounds. Targets take 5 HP damage and 1 AP damage. Grows more powerful, decreasing incoming damage by an additional 2 points, costs 1 AP, radius 3, duration 3. Bully's Adrenaline opponent lasts 1 additional round for a total of 4. Adrenal Bump can now revive a downed ally. Now let's go with extra augmentation. And him. Blitzking the Farlight Excalibur Cyber deck, replacing his old virtual deck. Yeah, let's confirm all them. I want to grab some magic actually. See what you've got. Spells. Let's actually sell some stuff because I don't need Don't need the kamikaze, and I probably don't need the grenade. So we'll sell them. So we've got 6.5 grand. So spell-wise, I probably want flamethrower. Probably want armor 3 and aim 3. Actually, no, I don't want flamethrower. Probably want mana ball 2. Lightning bolt 2. Mana bolt 3. That's all my money gone. That's all of my money. Do you know what? I'm not going to worry about spells for now. I'm going to do the one run for... I'm going to move on to do the run for... I'll be going now. He's got the so he's not going to say anything. Yeah, let's go do the run for... Start the run for... Blizz, isn't it? Blitz. And then we'll do... And then we'll move on and do the other run. Main run. Let's do that one. I'll probably take a break and get a drink, actually. Oh, I thought my game was going to die then. Settling debts. Drogon Kippy. It's been high up on anyone's list of places to avoid, but that's where you're headed, and you're going there alone this time. The last time you were here, you saw Blitz. He was carting his portable terminal over to Cafe Krazai, presumably so that he could do his decking in the most comfortable environment possible. Like everything else related to the Drogon Kippy, the U-Bahn train that services is in poor repair. The car you are riding in stinks like a chemical toilet on a hot day. On the floor near the doorway you catch a sight of a trampled lump of tattered fur. The longer you stare at it, the more convinced you become that you're looking at the remains of a long dead squirrel. The train rumbles to a stop and the doors slide open. Time to get this over with. Okay, so I've got everything I can carry. Confirm. Game is saved. Yeah, probably going to stop here for today. Yes, I know I've got karma. Stepping out of the U-Bahn tunnel, you once again find yourself in the squalid alleys of the Drogon Kippy. This place is a pit. Piles of waste, humans... This place is a pit. Piles of waste, humans, and otherwise litter the streets. Gutted husks of commercial buildings stand hollow and empty all around you. The comlink crackles to life, and you hear the distinct sounds of the Cafe Kazavir, murmint, laughter, and the clink of silverware and china. Bit's voice cuts in a second later. Hey Chief, ready to do this thing? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get this started. That's the spirit. The run's going to be a piece of cake. Just you wait and see. Okay. I'll come back to this later. Probably tomorrow now. We'll continue this run. So thank you very much for watching.